Hey everybody! So this week we were given episode 4 of Shadowhunters, Raising Hell. I am so much happier with the show now that I have seen this episode. This episode actually gives me a lot more hope. The episode starts off showing Clary in bed dreaming about Magnus taking her memories, and she doesn't know his full name at this point in time. But when she wakes up all disoriented and mistakes Simon for Jace, after she apologizes to him for that, he tells her that Camille mentioned a Magnus Bane and kind of explains the little bit that he knows from that so far. And then Clary runs out of the room to go find Jace and tell him about this new information and finds him shirtless working out because of course they added this scene in there. Hey, I'm a girl. I appreciated it. It was nice to see, even though I'm not a Jace girl. Some other things that go on with Clary in the episode are that she saves a warlock child and impresses Magnus. He even tries to bring her to his lair to protect her from Valentine, and I thought that was a really nice touch. I'm gonna get back to Clary in a bit because what happens at the end of the episode with her is something that I have a couple of issues with. So let's save that towards the end of this. Jace in this episode is trying to be all business with Clary and kind of failing. And it's pretty entertaining. He's continuously defending Clary to MALEC, and I think that's a very interesting touch, the way that's kind of running on and on. Even though it kind of goes on for a bit in the books, I like the way it is being played out on screen though. It's fun to watch. Another thing that I thought was interesting was the whole parabatai tracking thing between Jace and MALEC, because we are told in the books that everything is stronger between parabatai and they can do more together. Clary made the funny remark during this whole tracking thing that it seemed very intimate, and Izzy responded with, "You have no idea." Oh man, it is just so good. It's so good. Another thing Jace does in the episode is he puts a rune on Clary that's so strong it makes her scream. I thought it was an okay scene. It was an okay scene. I thought it was really interesting to watch, and for them to really be playing out how runes aren't just something like, here's a rune and it's not gonna hurt at all. No, they have power and they're being basically burned into your skin. So yes, that's going to hurt. I like that that is really shown in the show. Simon in the episode, he is so messed up. He starts hallucinating Camille. He has a fight with Clary and leaves the Institute, and then he proceeds to start having these vampiric symptoms throughout the episode. When he goes back to his house, Maureen shows up, starts asking where he was because he didn't show up for practice, and he has no real good excuse. His mom barges in, demands to know where he was the night before, and she just completely destroys his alibi. Maureen then asks Simon about if he is dating Clary. When he responds no, she says that she wants to date him, and he hears her, but he doesn't really respond. He is mesmerized by this blood on a broken frame, and when she walks out of the room, he puts his finger to it and he tastes it, drinks it, what have you. And I'm just like, this is interesting that they're doing this stuff so soon with Simon, but I'm kind of liking it. Towards the end of the episode, he tries calling Clary to apologize and all of that. She doesn't answer, so he leaves a message. And then he heads to the Hotel du Mort. Oh, I see where this is going. I still don't know if they're gonna do what happens in the book, but I don't know if he's still hallucinating her or what, because when he arrives at the Hotel du Mort, he sees Camille, and I don't know, that's where that ends. Izzy in this episode comes up with the grand idea that they can find and set up a meeting with Magnus at one of the year's biggest parties, and Hodge kind of adds on to this, which I have some issues with, but anyways, Hodge opens up a part of the floor and brings out the ruby necklace that has been in the Lightwood family for many years. He doesn't mention this really. All he mentions is that it was the necklace that Magnus gave Camille when they were together and in love, and that it will draw Magnus out. It does draw him out, but in the books it's not really an important thing to him anymore, and he long since parted from it. Some other cool things Izzy did in this episode was dressing Clary up, and we get to see a lot of Izzy's wardrobe, and I just want it all, especially that sparkly dress she was wearing in this episode. One other tidbit that I really liked with Izzy was the scene where she's just lusting after that necklace and she wants it, and she does end up getting it. Magnus gives it to her, and he says that it's been in the Lightwood family for years. And I like that that was addressed and kind of corrected, because apparently Hodge didn't really know, or just decided not to mention it. Luke, we haven't seen a lot of him in the season so far. But in this episode, they show him for like one scene. He is looking for Clary, and I don't know if he's really looking for the Mortal Cup, but he's leading the werewolves to believe that he is. Valentine in this episode, we see him kill some Seelie scouts, and we see Pangborn die as well. It's interesting the way he dies with that demon fog infection thing. I don't know, it was weird, and Pangborn deserved it. Another thing with Valentine, he can see Clary when she views her mother through that necklace, and he demands the Mortal Cup for her mother's safe return. I still want to learn more about this necklace, because that's something that is not in the books, and I need to know more. Really though, this episode should be titled MALEC, because the MALEC scenes were so amazing. Yes, that is what made me so thrilled by the end of the episode, and it's given me so much more hope for this show. Let's talk about Alec and Magnus in this episode. Alec in this episode, we start off with a scene between him and Izzy where he's letting off some steam in a conversation, and she tells him, don't bottle things up because you'll explode and it'll be bad. Alec really screws up though in this episode when they are summoning the memory demon, and he lets go of everyone's hands during their sacrifice deal thing where they're supposed to give up a memory of the one they love most, and it shows Jace, and Jace looks at him, and then Alec says that the memory demon deceived him. And then everything just goes to hell, because yeah, the demon gets loose and grabs Jace and almost kills him. Yeah, then Clary has to kill the demon, and that's one thing that I have issues with. Clary just killed a greater demon this soon, and she has no real Shadowhunter training? No, that's not cool. Magnus in this episode, when he's leaving to meet up with Jace and Clary, he sends another warlock, Elias, to go to the Spiral Labyrinth and get Tessa's help with some shields. It's Tessa. You guys, they are name dropping Tessa, and that means so many things, and I'm trying to refrain from squealing too hard, but I squealed really loud when watching this scene. And basically, I think they were getting her help with putting up more shields around the lair and all the warlocks to protect them. So yeah, and Elias gets killed sometime between this moment and the end of the episode by the Circle, and it's safe to assume he didn't reach Tessa. Okay guys, so on to some of my favorite scenes, the MALEC scenes. That's what I'm calling them. When Magnus first sees Alec, Alec shoots an arrow and kills a Circle member, and the first thing he says is, "Who are you?" And he just kind of starts checking out Alec. Alec is completely oblivious. Magnus starts off the flirtation because Alec is so reserved and still in the closet. After they have tracked Magnus again from him fleeing that party through a portal, Alec saves Magnus again from another Circle member, and they have this cute, awkward introduction, and Alec has this really cute smile when he meets Magnus, and it's everything. Magnus then continues to flirt with Alec throughout the time that they're in his lair, and name drops Michelangelo and different things like that, about that he slept with him and trying to impress Alec, obviously. And Alec's just like, I don't know, he just doesn't understand what is happening. There's even a scene where Magnus refers to Alec as pretty boy. He says, pretty boy, go get your team ready. And Jace thinks he's talking to him, but then he corrects Jace and tells him that he's talking about Alec. And Alec is just like, it's adorable. At the end of the episode, Alec is standing off to the side, feeling guilty for almost getting Jace killed. And as Magnus is walking out of the room, he tells Alec there's nothing to be ashamed of. Alec responds, I don't know what you're talking about. And then Magnus says, you will. I think Harry and Matthew did a really great job at bringing the beginning of Magnus and Alec's relationship to life on screen, and I really can't wait to watch the relationship between the two characters develop. As far as favorite quotes for the episode goes, I really only have one that really stood out to me. It stood out to my geek side, and I'm a Simon girl, so it's obviously the quote where Simon is angry at Jace and says, you don't get to talk to me, Captain America. That was such a great line and a perfect Simon and Jace moment. All in all, I really enjoyed most of this episode. I still have issues with some of the liberties being taken, but there's not much we can do about that. I have a lot of hope for this season, and if it keeps progressing the way it's been doing, I think the show might survive. I hope y'all enjoyed this recap and review. Continue to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.